Good afternoon. What a wonderful day. Welcome to the Bob Randall and Company live preview show for Monday, February 13th, 2023. This is our second episode of season two, and we are so excited to be with you today. But I am more excited about having my co host, the wonderful, the great, the beautiful Mr. Randall Santa Checker Lee.
Oh my goodness, what an intro! I definitely can't cover that one at all.
Well, you're
Especially,
looking good today, brother. I mean, your vest, your hair, your glasses. I mean,
you
you're
know.
just glowing, and I love that.
Oh man, well, thank you so much, Bob. Looking good as always you are. But glad to be here. Second one already of the year is fantastic. Incredible how fast this. It's the middle of February.
I know, man. It's crazy. It just seems to just fly by faster and faster and faster. I don't know, man. Blink of an eye, and it'll be time to sit in the chair again. And everyone should be thinking about that. What they're going to do to upgrade this year, how they're going to get more training, uh, find mentorship, all the things that are offered within the Santa Red Suit community. There is so much out there, and we are so excited to be able to just bring you a small, very small piece of what we do to try to help each and every one of you be better at what at your craft. And so, anyway, let's talk about the weather. How's the weather up there in the upper?
Oh man, it is. I can't believe it's February. I mean, it's like that butter. Can't believe it's butter. I can't believe it's February. It was 56 yesterday and sunny. Today it's in the upper lower 50s and semi-sunny, but I mean we should have snow. We should have snow and sub-zero temperatures here in the middle of February. We've had really warm weather. I mean, it's just crazy nice. And we got a little dip coming up this week. We'll be in the 20s at night, but we're going to stay in the 40s and 50s. And I've got a thing called the Winter Blast this weekend. I'm doing magic shows all weekend. It's called Winter Blast. There's not much blast of winter going on, but it'll keep the crowds up, which will be fantastic. It'll be huge crowds at the festival this weekend, so which makes it kind of better. How's
Well,
it?
you mentioned not much snow. The eastern half from the plains, the eastern half of the Rockies east has really had a real mild winter so
Yeah.
far this year. Uh, Quite contrary to the West, which the West needed it. Lake Powell, Lake Mead, Lake Havasu, uh, all those lakes were down in water, and hopefully the snow melt, which is where most of that runoff comes from the headwaters, up in the Rockies, the western slopes. They have had a lot of snow. California and the Sierra Nevada mountains just blast, blast, blast. Washington, Oregon finally got some winter precipitation this year. They've been on a slack, the last few years. Hardly anything going on up there, but we're glad to see that. That's going to help the
Yeah.
West out. But like you said, man, the East is kind of strange. We had the ice storm recently. Today it's overcast. We got a chance for rain the next couple of days, and but it's warm. But then again, that cold front moving through that's going to bring that rain is going to drop us back down seasonal. And and then I hear from these guys I watch on YouTube that towards the end of February we're going to have another really cold blast. So we'll see if that develops and see what happens. But yeah,
It's
it's fantastic just to be able to wake up, the sun shining, and
mhm.
know that summer, spring's not too far off.
The sooner the better, boy. I love those birds chirping and that sunshine and that but like I said, we've been so fortunate. It's crazy. It's almost a teaser. And then you get to the point going, oh, in a couple of weeks we probably will have a bunch of snow, or I remember sometimes up here in Michigan that we'll have Mother's Day. There'll be bad weather, snow and ice and everything. So we still have a long season here in Michigan to go yet. So yeah, Rex, yeah, I know you're in the Florida there where it's in the 70s and sunny. I know it's. Do you ever get like used to that? Does you ever take that for granted, Rex? That it's always beautiful down there, sunny and uh,
Well, the only thing that Rex really has to worry about now being in the deep south, of course, you can have tornadoes anywhere, but
right.
the from Texas east into the deep south, always a chance for tornadoes, especially on the Florida Peninsula. Now, him being up in the Panhandle, I think his biggest threat would be those tropical storms and hurricanes that may come up through the Gulf and turn and come in. So that's the one thing he probably frets more than anything because let's see, he says, yeah, they think 50 is cold. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
See, 50s here is people are barbecuing shorts, t-shirts, and it's just like, where's the bathing suit time? And I saw a gentleman yesterday. He was out walking his dog in shorts and a t-shirt, and it was 55 or 50, whatever it was. So it's up here. That is, you guys are probably get the parkas out down there in Florida at 50. Shut down
Absolutely.
doors.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, hot topics is that something, Burger? You ready? Let's do it. All right, something burger is here. Hot topic, real quick. Tom says they're forecasting 2 inches of snow. There, blistery 40 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Of course, he's up in the Oregon area there in that West Coast where anything can happen.
And usually does.
All right, Randy. So let's go ahead and
All right.
let you jump off in here first with your question. We'll pose this to those who are watching. We want to get your input here. Give us your answers of what you think is the best. This is our way of getting you involved and allow you to share with others. Always remember, we may not have a whole lot watching as far as big numbers live, but these go on to YouTube where others can always learn from them anywhere down the road. So, all right, Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, Bob said, whatever your input is fantastic to hear about because it does get seen when it's replayed and everything else. So actually, I got two kind of the same question, but it's the positive and the negative on it. First question is, what do you feel is the most important attribute that Santa or Mrs. Claus should have? And of course, the other one is, what do you think the least important thing that Santa and Mrs. Claus should have? So it's basically two questions, but kind of the same: the most important and the least important attribute that Santa and Mrs. Claus should have.
Absolutely. Throw some answers in there. Rex, that is a great one. Rex says the ability to listen. That is fantastic. Great. Of course, Rex is always point on with everything. Charlie has a great point here too. His or her personality is most important. Absolutely. Even if, and we all know that yes, we're impersonators, you might say, or actors. We portray a character, but that character is a big part of who we are. I mean, we let our own light shine through that character. That's a great point, Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. That personality is definitely. There's some Santas I know that they think costume is the most important, or their beard is the most important. There's many different things that they think is the most important, or some Santas don't think that is. It's a suit's a suit. But I agree, personality, that smile, that thing that you, and I don't know what word, that thing that you emit to the children, that glow, is to me is very very important. As a great attribute.
Charisma,
Thank you.
charisma,
Thank you.
character.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yep. And hello, Mark Walker. Good to see you, brother. We just asked the question Randy did. You want to repeat it, Randy, from Mark?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
And
Mark.
Bob?
What do you feel is the most important attribute that Santa or Mrs. Claus should have? And what do you think is the least important attribute that Santa or Mrs. Claus should have? Great, Bob. Bob, kindness is perfect. That's right. Sweetness,
Absolutely.
kindness, that is job one. I think I shouldn't say that. That's probably a a automotive owned saying, right? But that is definitely kindness is perfect.
Yep, think so
Yeah.
too. And again, the suit matters. I mean, we have to have the look, but that is only a small, and I do mean a very small portion of who and what we are and what we project. So those are all great. Nathan says kindness, a smile, patience, the heart of Santa, so to say. Absolutely. Now then, we've kind of covered the most
Most
important,
important. What do you feel is the least
least
important?
important attribute Santa or Mrs. Claus should have in their portrayal. Something that comes across but is not up on the top of the list. It's something that you want to concentrate on, something that just kind of happens naturally, or something that you feel is just not as important, but sometimes you incorporate it into your portrayal. Anybody got any answers there?
It's kind of a it's tougher question to me to answer than the most important, because being
Sure.
Santa, everything is important to the children,
Yes,
or
I
to
agree.
us, for our portrayal of the character. So that question is kind of hard, as far as I'm concerned, to come up with what would be the least important. Is it the style of your boots? Is it your belt buckle? Is it the way you brush your eyebrows? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to. Everything is important, but what would be the least important to every individual? I think it's a tough something. They say that not everything is very important, but
Yeah, that's a loaded question in so many ways there with the least important. Gosh, I'm trying to think of something that would be least important.
yeah,
To me, it's all important,
it's
you
all.
know.
Yeah, and
But
yeah, like you said, we can probably categorize different, or put things in different perspective of what we feel is the most, and then we go down. But there isn't anything that would be, let's say, at the bottom of the list. Is it? I mean, and I guess there would have to be, if you are going 1 to 10, there would be at the top or the bottom of the list. But they're all, everything that as Santa portrays is very important for you personally, as your character and you portrayal, and of course for the children and families. So it was kind of a tough question to ask, but kind of a trick question in a way, because there almost
yeah,
is no answer.
absolutely. So we say listen, personality, smile, have that heart of Santa. Uh, ah, there you go, Rex, as usual. Got the great
Ooh,
answer again.
ooh, Rex,
That's great. That's absolutely great right there.
beautiful. That is,
That's
and yeah,
that's butter.
that is
That's
that is
butter.
yeah, and Santa shouldn't have an ego.
No, but
So
you do see some guys that let their
yeah,
ego sometimes start creeping in and starts to get the best of them.
yeah,
I
wow,
think guys that have 3 to 5 years under their belt have probably gone beyond that. I don't know, and I'm guilty, and I think many of us are. When we first start, we want to be accepted. We want other Santas, Mrs. Claus to accept us as a Santa Claus portrayer. We want reinforcement from those folks that our beard looks good, our hair looks good, we bleached, and everything looks good there. Our suit looks good. We've got the right smile. Our glasses match. The row of Santa instead of the big, black big glasses like some guys wear. So, I can see where ego kind of, if you want to call it ego, I guess it would kind of be your ego, kind of creeps in those first couple of years. Post a lot of pictures, and talk a lot about yourself, but after 3 to 5 years, you kind of, and again, real quickly stepping this, you go out, you dress up in Santa casual, you're looking for people to pick you out and say, "Hey, Santa," you know, when you first get started, and then after 3 to 5 years, you kind of want to just dress normal or wear black or something not red and kind of just blend in with the crowd. You kind of go into that incognito mode.
yeah, very very much. Or if you go to an event and you have an ego like you are, I mean, you're Santa, that's who you are, and you're a special guest, but don't take it to the next level of the ego. Like, hey, look, you want your green or all green M&Ms, or your or your bottled water only. It's so, yeah, and then that can roll into your connection with the children. So yeah, that's, wow, what a great one, Rex. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. Thank you, Rex.
All right. So I think that's a pretty good
Cool. Thank you, guys.
group of answers there. Love all of those.
Yeah.
All very valuable, especially to a newer guy coming into the industry. Can look at that and kind of put that down as a blueprint. Yes, there are times I am envious of the traditional designer pair guys. Yeah, I think we all are. When you look at Thomas Sharon or Matt or any of the guys that are wearing these beautiful, big, nice, fancy, traditional designer, whatever you want to call them, the Maggie beards. I mean, Maggie's probably got the best product on the market for the price at this point. There's a lot of others out there doing it before her, but she's really come on the scene and has some really nice product put out there. But I'm like you, Rex. Sometimes you look at those guys and think, wow, I mean, you know, what a fantastic looking set that they have. And, I'm one of the two administrators on Santa's on Facebook, one of the oldest Facebook groups out there. And we do the beard of the month every month between me and Larry Shaw, the other administrator. And for a long time, when Jeffrey Shepard had it before Jeffrey passed, rest in peace, Jeffrey, uh, he did just strictly real bearded Santas. And we got together and decided, well, there's no division. A lot of guys want to try to divide us and put us in different camps, but there's no division. So we've got now where we include the traditional beard, designer beard Santas as beard of the month. And, you know, absolutely. I mean, they don't have to bleach, but they do have to put that sucker on every day and clean it up after they've had it on. And it's just as much work involved being on either side of the camp. It doesn't matter. Uh, Top says he thinks you need a bit of an ego to pull believability off. Yeah, in the sense of the word, Tom, I think you're right. I mean, you do have to have
Is it ego or confidence? You have
confidence. Yeah, that's what I
confidence,
was going to
maybe not
say.
ego, Tom. You'd have to have confidence. You could have confidence in yourself, but an ego is kind of more of a, maybe. And we all have to have confidence in what we're doing. We all better know our backstories. We all better know our everything else, so that we better be confident in our suits and our look and everything else. So
That's Stephen Kleiner there from Hamilton, Ohio. Hello, Stephen. How are you today, my brother? Good to see you on here with us today. All right, so we've done the first question. Really, really great answers. Let's go on to number two here. And this is just something that, again, hot topic stuff that pops up that I see more than one post a week on, and I jot it down and say, maybe this is something we should talk about. So, when using social media, do you research the site before clicking to use it, or do you assume it has been vetted and just click away? The reason I bring that up is I know you've all seen these AI, artificial intelligence, generated photos and photo sites that folks are using for their profile pictures. Fantastic looking pictures. I mean, they're so whimsical and cool, cartoonish. But back, oh gosh, it was back in October, I think, around uh, beginning of fall. There was some guys using one, and it was brought to their attention that that is a Chinese owned, linked to the Communist Party site. And some guys said, well, they've already got all our information anyway. It don't matter. And they went ahead and used it. Others were cautious and didn't use it. I, for one, didn't use it as much as I would love to have one of those fancy pictures. I just kind of said, well, maybe I shouldn't. So I stepped away from it. But it seems that many of these sites have been linked back to bad origins. So how many of you actually go in and do a little research before clicking away, or do you just click and don't worry about the consequences later if there is any? And there may not be. They may not be nefarious, but who knows? When you're on social media, you really got to watch. I mean, because they're trying to come at you from every angle, hacking, cloning. We see that every day. Uh, so many. I've got now, and it's a shame that it's come to this, but I've actually got hundreds of friend requests, and most of them are probably legit. I don't have the time to sit and vet each one of those people to make sure that it's not a clone or it's not someone of bad origin. So, I apologize if you sent me a friend request in the last year and I haven't accepted it. It's just to the point that it's out of control.
and that is the problem. I mean, it's so easy to clone an account, that and if you just hit friends request accept, then you're going to be cloned. I mean, it's going to happen. I know I had that problem probably a year ago now. I did the old picture things, and wow, I didn't realize. I mean, I was lucky. I guess I think I did have a few problems that didn't last long. Somebody was using my account for something, and so I mean, I was lucky enough. I just had to change my password, and I was out of it. But yeah, I haven't been doing that, and I think I know Charlie wrote. He said he investigates them all. I think it's a great idea to take a few minutes and just investigate, or like you said, you don't always have time to approve. But if you want to, take a few moments. There could be a lot of problems in the future if you just don't take a few minutes to cover yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Depends on who the original poster was, Charlie says. He also says, but lately he researches all, as you mentioned. He also says, I look for the number of mutual friends, as most clone accounts have 0 mutual friends. It's very true, although they are getting smarter and smarter. And I have seen a handful, and not many, but a handful that actually show they've got hundreds of friends. And but it has a little bit of a different look when you go to that friends list. And so, and I don't remember exactly what that was, but there is a way to tell the difference. But again, a very important factor to all this is, and it's again, it's a shame it has come to this, but I think that most of us have realized that you're just going to have to block your friends list from the public. You've got privacy settings in there where you can make it where just your family can see it. You can actually put in the people's names that you want to be able to see your friends list. So you're going to have to personalize it to yourself and not share it with the public, because so many of these guys that do get cloned, the very first thing they do is they grab all your friends. Now, if you've got that friends list blocked, that's going to stop a lot of that. So keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, because remember, guys, this is, I mean, especially Facebook and everything. It's international, or Instagram. It's international. It's not just your state you're in or the United States. It is international. So anybody does around the world is doing that stuff because they're getting paid to hack somebody and get the information. So it's sad to say, but take a few minutes and investigate it. It really is. I think it's don't learn the old fashioned. Don't learn the hard way.
And for me, I mean, I'm basically a Facebook kind of guy. I got a Twitter account. I started back when I first got into the business and used it for maybe the first 8, 10 months and just lost interest in it, quit using it. Don't have Instagram. I don't have all these others. I don't do uh, the
TikTok.
uh, TikTok. That's the one. Thank you, Randy. It's one I was trying to think of. I don't do it, because I've heard so many bad things about how it's linked and where the origins are. So again, I try to be as safe as I can. So that's all we can hope for the rest of us is to learn and try to figure out a way to keep it at a minimum if
Mhm.
if you can, with all the different again, nefarious origins out there, bad origins, whatever, that are trying to constantly steal information from us. All right. Any other comments, questions? Randy, you got anything else to add to that?
Oh, I think it's definitely is. It's just be careful out there. I mean, it's. Remember when the internet first started, way back in the '90s or whatever? They say don't give all your information out. Don't put it. And so you were afraid of doing it. Now we do it like it's wide open, and it's far more easier to hack now than it was back in the '90s when they were telling you don't do that. They don't.
Sure. True.
So definitely take care. Take a few minutes, and I think it's the old kind of they used to be saying buyers beware, but internet beware. Because there's a lot of
Absolutely.
negative people out there. I'm sorry, that just and they want to hack Santas. I mean, it's crazy. It's why Santas? But I mean, how
Yeah.
many requests have people gotten for the young ladies? I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. You
And
get this.
Santa collectors too. They're out there
Yeah,
time of
yeah.
day.
No, just block and get out.
Nothing to nothing to do with the industry, but they want to collect every Santa they can as a friend,
Right.
because I guess again, maybe it falls back on ego for that person. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Angela, let's go ahead and go to our closet, santascloset.com, or excuse me, that's all wrong. santascloset.org, a trivia question.
Hey everyone, Elf Angela Mack here for Bob, Randyl, and Company Live. The show about nothing. Bob, Randyl, and Company Live is brought to you by Santa's Closet. Santa's Closet has been delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since 2004. Santa's Closet's main goal is to provide both a superior customer experience with tremendous value for their customers. Santa's Closet brings more than 400 separate products to the Claus community at a reasonable price. Santa's Closet is under new ownership. Let's welcome Santa Wade and Scarlett Kaufman of Tennessee, whom will continue the tradition of bringing you products of unparalleled quality and design. Don't forget to visit their sites at santascloset.org and support their efforts of bringing quality products to the community. This is Angela Mack reminding you to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randyl, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
And again, santascloset.org has new ownership. Santa Wade and Scarlett Kaufman of Smyrna, Tennessee, and they are running a 10% off discount. That's 10% off at checkout on your entire order during February. So if you decided that you're going to buy up a bunch of goodies, giveaways, and that sort of thing, or even something for your Santa wardrobing, reach out to those folks and buy, and get that 10% off. It's not a lot, but hey, it all adds up in the end. All right, Randy, let's go ahead and get that trivia question out there.
Well, great. This is a cool trivia question. This is neat. Now we've got a couple stipulations at the end here. I'll tell you in a moment. According to Guinness Book of World Records, what is the world's tallest ever cut Christmas tree? From the Guinness Book of World Records, what is the world's tallest ever cut Christmas tree? Now, what we need is a couple different things. How tall and what type of tree? So we need those two answers, how tall and what type of tree it was. It's a special tree. I mean, it's kind of amazing. So
it is compared to the norm. And I'm always looking for things that jump out, and this jumped out. So I went ahead and grabbed it and used it today. Now, guys, while we're waiting on you to put out some actual data here for us, if you like what we do here on the Monday show or even the Tuesday Night Live show, we sure could use your help, guys. We need to get the word out that we're here on Mondays at 3 p.m. Central and on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central for the two shows. These shows have built, we've gained audience. We've moved over to YouTube where we're getting a lot of clicks over there, which is taken away from the Facebook side of it. But if you could, tell a friend if you like what we're doing. If you think that you can help someone, if you're mentoring someone, just mention us and let them come on, watch us. If they like us, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. But we're here trying to help, and we would really love to have your help in getting the word out that we're here and the kind of job that we're doing, good, bad, or indifferent. All right, let's see what we got over here.
Hey, Eric, what's your phone?
Douglas Fir, 125 by Charlie. You got 221 Douglas Fir. Who was that by?
What, the first one there?
Yeah.
Joe Stephens?
Yes, Joe has it here on my deal, and of course, this is not official. This, we'll have to wait and let all the timestamps come in, but that's looking good. So we've got quite a few that agree on that particular answer, and I'm sorry I'm looking away from the screen, but recently bought a new laptop, and I don't have everything switched over, so I've got my old laptop to the far right, my new one in the middle, and my new monitor to the left over here. So I got three things I'm trying to look at. But very good. Let's see here. I seen something from Eric and Mo. Wow, you guys are fast typers. You got to be quick, Eric and Mo. Got to be quick.
There's a lot of fast typers out there. Really, they got that. I still do the one finger thing,
Me too. That's me. I'm a one finger typer. And we don't have AJ on today. I don't know how he does it unless he has his set up on voice where he can just speak it in real quick instead of typing it, because that guy's fast.
Yeah.
But, normally AJ's on. He's not on here today. I think he's on a trip or doing something different today. But anyway, all right. So we'll come back and entertain the correct answer and who our winner will be here in just a bit as we move along, and we'll be right back after this. Love that commercial. All right, guys. So we're started this show back some time ago to preview our Tuesday Night Live shows, and this is a segment where we get a chance to do that. So I know many of you tuned in last week, hoping to see the debut season 3 of the Tuesday Night Live show. And unfortunately, Santa Rex Ray, who everyone sees is on with us today. Thank goodness. Thank you, Santa Rex. He reached out to me last week, said his uh, equipment had failed. They got out there, I believe it was Wednesday this week. Wednesday. It failed on Monday. He called me on Wednesday and said, well, they're supposed to get it done by Friday. And I think anyway, they had it done early Friday. It was electronic. And so tomorrow night show, here we go. I know here, I didn't change the date there, did I, Randy?
No, I
In our
think you
script.
got, yeah, that's okay.
But tomorrow night, Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2018, Santa Claus Hall of Fame inductee Santa Rex Ray. And everyone who knows Rex knows he is full of
Stop there.
information.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, so much fun. Everyone loves Rex, so we're looking forward to tomorrow night's show. And real quick, we want to talk about some of the changes that we're going to be going through with season 3 of the Tuesday Night Live show. We are trying to get things in order, get moving along, do things a little bit different. But the main change is that the School of Santas will be sponsoring the first half of the show because Derek Dugan dropped out as a sponsor. And then Stuff for Santa on the other half of the show will be also. But the thing that I didn't mention last week that we do want to mention is for the School of Santa's first half of the sponsorship for Tuesday Night Live, the trivia question winner will get their name put into the hat to become a chance at the drawing at the end of the season, or actually before then, because by the time the School of Santas of Branson comes along in July for a scholarship. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow night. I'm going to let Spangle go through that with you more. But that is one of the big things. We do have 2 school opportunities coming up. We have the Sat Bob's 2-day, Garland, Texas, March 11th and 12th, early bird paid in full by this Friday. That's this Friday, so your time is short. $75 off regular price. $300 for single Santa Mrs. Claus, $425 for couples. It's normally $375 and $500. If you're interested, satbobschool@yahoo.com, satbobschool@yahoo.com. The second opportunity is School of Santas. 2 weeks to choose from, July 13th and 16th and July 20th and 23rd. Somebody called me last night and said, look, if you get anyone to sign up by this Friday, we will give them $100 off to attend School of Santas in July. So not only can you save $75 if you come to the Garland class, Sat Bob's Garland class, you can also save $100 off tuition for School of Santas for July. Anyway, all right, Randy, who else we got coming up on Tuesday Night Live in February?
Well, February also then have Jessica Rosa, incredible holiday photos. I mean, that is something that every Santa's got to listen to, because working with a photographer is just so. That will be the 22nd then, correct?
Believe that's correct.
That'll be the 22nd, February 22nd, right? Is that the 22nd? Did we have the right date here? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will be the 21st, Randy.
The 21st. I'm
21st.
sorry. That will be February 21st. Tuesday, February 21st will be Jessica Rosa. Like I said, the holiday photo magic. Just incredible. About that. I mean, sponsorship for that. And then we have some of our guests that are on here today that said about fast typers. February 28th, Eric and Moesha will be on again talking about their season and so many things going on. So February is full of incredible guests. So much to learn, especially photography stuff, man. It's like the title is. It's magic. It's photo magic. It really is. It makes huge memories. And And I can't believe how much Eric and Moesha did last year. I mean, I got to talk to them during the holidays, and it's like, wow, they were everywhere. So they've got some great stories. And of course, can't miss Rex tomorrow night. I mean, come on. I mean, he had, like I said, the coolest answer tonight about ego. Thank you for that one. So you guys, it is so much to learn that coming up in February, and then March.
I was spoke extensively the other day with Eric and Mo. They had such a breakout season this last year, and they were kind of new. We were talking about this with them in our chat. They had portrayed Santa Miller Claus on a semi-pro level, if you want to call it that, but they weren't really known amongst the social media platforms. And they kind of broke out last year, jumped out, got out into public, got to meet other brothers and sisters in the red suit community, and that led to a lot of really fantastic, great things. And they've got such a update on their story. Last season and what they are looking forward to in 2023. So don't miss that one, February 28th, Tuesday Night Live show. Back up to Jessica again next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow night, will be Jessica Rosa. We'll get to know her better, her newest project. She's got quite a few. She has become a Tuesday Night Live sponsor once a month, and what she's going to be giving away there for the trivia prize. So remember, on the first Tuesday of each month will be the Holiday Photo Magic sponsor. We'll have 3 trivia questions on that Tuesday night each month. The one from School of Santa's, Stuff for Santa, and Holiday Photo Magic.
Wow, talk about winners! Come and watch. You're gonna learn, and the percentage chance of you winning. So again, we're still going to do the third. Don't forget, we got to do the 30-day. You can't win in 30 days. So we're still
that's true. That's true. That rule will still be in effect. And speaking of, if anyone wants to know what the trivia rules are, it's kind of mandatory that when you run a giveaway that you put up the rules, who qualifies, who doesn't qualify, how you get your prizes, what it costs, if it costs anything. All those rules are over on the pin to the top of the Tuesday Night Live show Facebook group page if you want to go over and take a look at them.
Couple of great weeks coming up.
Tom, that's something that, of course, Tom did a session with Jessica this last year, so he's very familiar with Jessica and has worked with her. That's something good, Tom. If you've got any other photographers out there that you would recommend to have on the show, we would love to have that feedback from not just Tom, but anyone. If there's someone that you find interesting that has a good story that you think would make a great guest, reach out to us. Let us know. We'll reach out to them and see if we can get them on the show. We love having some of our regular guests back. Rex Ray has been a guest. Jessica's been a guest. Erica Moe's been a guest. But we've got some new folks that we're looking at, but we need help with, maybe some other new ones that you're interested in having on.
Because everybody has something to teach. I've been talking to Santa lately. That's basically a new Santa, same thing. And he has some great tips. So he'll be on, and you'll hear that in the future. But yeah, you don't miss him. You're always going to learn something. Always learn something.
Yeah, even the new guys have things that they can share, new ideas, fresh ideas. I mean, everyone is partner to the conversation. I mean, important in every kind of different way. So always keep your ears open, listen. We mentioned that up there earlier about listening. Listening is great attribute to have all across the board. All right, so let's get into our trivia answer and make sure that we give our trivia prize winner today. We kind of jumped out last week and didn't do that. First show back in the saddle. Hey, sometimes you got to fall off the saddle to learn to make sure and keep your feet in the stirrups. All right, so here I got a host of things to talk about here. But according to the Guinness Book of Records, the world's tallest ever cut Christmas tree stood in a shopping center in Seattle, in the United States of America, in December 1950. 1950. This record-breaking tree was 67.36 meters, and this is where it kind of gets sketchy. but the record actually reached 221 feet, and it was a Douglas fir. The height surpassed any of the famous Christmas trees that have stood at Rockefeller Center in New York or Trafalgar Square in London. The tallest that Rockefeller Center had at the time of this publication was 82 feet, and the square in London's tallest was 68 feet. So compare that to 221 feet. Now, when you think about stories, commercial stories are considered 10 feet. So that would be over 22 stories tall at 221 feet. Now, the footnote to this is they trucked it 70 miles to the city. It was believed to have been up to 287 years old and weighed 50,000 pounds. Then there was another footnote. Guinness may have made a topographical error. When you actually do the math, it should read 212 feet rather than 221 feet. But it's in the record book as 221. That was the answer we were looking for. And our winner is?
It is Joe Steffen.
It is Joe Steffen. Congratulations, Joe. Yay. Good job,
How did
man.
they decorate that 221-foot tree? Did they do lights? Did they do ornaments? I wonder what kind of, especially back in the 50s, what type of decorating did they do to call it a Christmas tree? I mean, if they cut it down and put it up, I kind of wonder what they did back then to really warrant it as a Christmas tree. Because that's
modern day, I've seen the extension poles that they run out the different extensions and hook the lights on, outside trees that are only 40, 50 foot tall at best,
Yeah.
And shopping centers and that sort of thing. But can you imagine 22 stories?
How?
I mean, you couldn't even take a flocker and flock the top of it.
An extension ladder, from whatever. I mean, you couldn't do any of that stuff. Would have to.
Speaking of hot air balloons, which we've all seen in the news recently, they did it from a hot air balloon.
Somehow,
top. That wouldn't be good either. All right, that was an interesting trivia question answer. Again, you start and I research and I look at something and I say, nah, that's not a good one. No, I don't like, that answer could be too controversial, too many different directions you can go with that answer. And this one had two, actually, 221, but when you do the math, it should have been 212. But anyway, fantastic. Had fun. Great job, Joe. And Spangle is actually sending out these. If I get it up here for you. These keys as the trivia prize winner. These come from santascloset.org. When Tom got ready to set up Wade and Scarlett for the business, he said it's going to be a transition period. So to keep from putting any due pressure on them, I'm going to send you enough keys to get you started for the season 2 of the Bob Randyl and Company live preview show. So he sent me out these keys. I gave them to Spangle when we went out to have dinner with him a couple of weeks ago. So he will be shipping them from his office to you. And I'm not sure, Joe, if he's got your address. Do we have it?
You have it because he did win.
Okay, we should already have it. If that address is still the same and you don't reach out with a different one, Joe, we'll send it to where we sent last season's prize to you that you had won. Okay. Gosh, it's been fun so far. Let's keep it rolling. You ready? You ready, Randy?
I'm ready.
Pull your shorts up and let's go, brother.
Not too hard, not too far. Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Santa Shorts. Just a brief peek into the world of Santa and Mrs. Claus. Last week we talked about like how you feel after busy holiday season and getting all wound up in your working day in and day out doing Santa. And what do you do for that mental drop? I talked about coming up with something new to do, learning something new, getting involved more with the thing, involved more with any kind of Santa organization. But now maybe it's definitely the best time of year to think about what we can do to help our health this time of year. I mean, we're talking 315 days is all that's left of Christmas. So probably about 275 till the beginning of your season. So the time to think now is to start thinking about your health, Santa's health, because I know Moesha, when I talked to Eric and Moesha, they said, how do you relax and um, how do you get enough sleep during the holidays? Well, that's something you almost have to condition yourself to through the year, and to get into better health through the year. If it's just getting out and walking, so your cardiovascular and your everything else is doing better, or of course eating better, but just taking the time throughout the year to work on not just our education as Santa and our mental health as Santa, but our physical health as Santa and Mrs. Claus. It doesn't matter if you're a 400-pound Santa, if you're a 225-pound Santa, we can still be healthy. We can still take care of our sleep. We can still take care of our proper eating. So it doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter if you have a 55 or 60-inch, cookie belt, or if you have a 40. It doesn't really matter. But you can also be healthier by taking care of just that little bit more. And the best thing to do is to start now. I know it's cold in the northern states, so you maybe can't get out walking, but just as soon as you can, get out walking so you can build your cardiovascular, start eating better and everything else, because that will bring back a better feeling inside you. And of course, when you smile better, the children feel that, and then the children smile more too, because you're feeling better. You're sitting in that chair and you're just like, I feel good. So that's something that you have to also emit to the children. So health, not just the mental health, but the physical health of Santa is very, very, and Mrs. Claus is very, very important. So start now, as soon as you can. Think about how you can either get more protein in, or maybe not so many. Wait till Christmas for all them cookies. Ah, man, I tell you, I gave away 3 bags of chocolate chip cookies, bags of chocolate chips the other day to my niece, because I'm not making any cookies. So, but definitely take the time now to work on how you're going to make yourself feel better for the season, because it'll be here before you know it. I don't know, a fair amount of guys do Christmas in July. So that's what, 4 or 5 months away, 5 months away. So we really have to start now. But take care of yourself. Get a good night's sleep. Eat a proper diet, fruits, vegetables, all those things. Start now, get in the habit so you feel better, your smile is better, your skin looks better, everything, you just emit a better thing to the children. And it'll be a lot easier sitting in that chair for 6 to 8 hours, because you'll feel so much more physically fit. Or walking, or if you're doing a parade, it's so much easier getting up and down off that float. Man, those things always freak me out, trying to get up and down off a float when you're not feeling good, or something, or you're not physically as agile sometimes. But take the time now. Don't put it off, because it'll be here before you know it. Thank goodness it'll be here before you know it, because I already missed that long white beard. Already missed that. And so take the time, get into your physical health. Like I said, we talked about mental health last week, how we can deal with that, getting back into more connections with everybody, or learning something new. But now take the time to do a physical. Take care of yourself physically. Doesn't matter if you're a Mrs. Claus or a Santa Claus or an elf. It just want to make sure you're healthy. But that's a quick little tip. And don't forget, pretty soon we're going to be starting Santa's Magical Moments, coming in real soon. Probably in March is when it's going to start. But thank you so much, as always, to let me say a few things here on Santa Shorts. Thanks again. See you in a little bit.
Fantastic, Randy. Several points I want to make here real quick. Magical is something that you use as part of your Santa handle, which is really cool for the new segment coming up. Kind of a a teaser there. Number two, folks, Randy is probably in the best shape he's been in maybe forever. I'm not real sure. But if you
Yeah.
go back and look on Randy's Facebook page and go back through the pictures, you will see the transformation that Randy has made through the years, and especially the last, what, 2 to 3?
Yeah, it's been actually today is what the 12th? What is today?
13th.
13th. So little over 3 years ago, I was 416 pounds.
That's
3 years
correct. You heard
ago,
that right. You heard that right.
416 pounds. Sleep apnea, high blood pressure, every kind of, I rattled. I took so many medications, and now I'm 228, and feeling so much better. It still scares me getting up and down off of a float,
Floats.
but when you're doing a parade, it's still climbing up and down. But boy, it was real rough when you're over 400 pounds. It's real rough. But yeah, it's just, you just need to take care of yourself health wise. And you don't have to be a 225-pound Santa. I don't, like I said, now I wear a belly when I'm Santa, so I make myself look bigger. But you really, really take care of yourself. It's we all want to get a few more years in, and this is the way to do it.
And you look fantastic, Randy, I might say. And before I move on to the next point, I was at 250 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Doctor put me on a strict diet. I went down below 200. I'm back at 210, where I feel best at. I'm like you. I have to wear a tummy to fill out the suit if I'm wearing a full suit. If I'm just in a vest and shirt like you are and I'm performing, I don't worry too much about bulking up. But if you've got the full suit on, I think it looks better if you've got that
Got a
the
little
Santa
rounder.
girth.
Yeah,
Girth,
the cookie area, you want a little bit bigger. Nobody
girth.
has said anything to me. Like I said, I was over 400 pounds. I was, like I said, 416, and nobody has said to me, "Now, wow, you're a really thin Santa." I mean, I haven't. It's all like everybody said earlier. What's most important? Your attitude and your and what you, it's everything else. When you listen, everything else. So it doesn't matter your size. It really matters your health, and that's something you gotta take care of, because it's a rough season. It can be a rough season.
Absolutely. And there's a comment from Bruce Nord. Says, backdrop you've got looks good, Randy. Now let's explain that. Tell folks what's going on there. I know everybody's probably thought, wow, that's different. It really does look good, Randy. But Randy, after the accident last year, has made a life-changing decision. He has decided to give up the family home that he and his wife and where he raised his daughters up. Too big, too much space to take care of. So Randy is downsizing. Randy has moved in the last couple of weeks. He had not had time to set up his shelving with all of his normal backdrop that you see in week in, week out. And for today's show, he went to the trouble of putting up that backdrop. It's a series of colors, as you can see. And it really does look good, Randy. I mean, it's plain and simple and effective.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to expand on your moving, or did I?
No, you said exactly. Yeah, I'm downsizing. I'm going to a smaller place just for me, because it's just me now in the house. So, but I just haven't had the time to get the new area set up, and I'll put the old house up for sale, the other house up for sale real soon, and I'll have a new, because of doing a fair amount of virtual visits during the holiday time. I did last year again, few hundred. I will definitely set up the backdrop, the back staging to look like Santa's office and all that. I will be back to that, but I needed something for today, and I got the backdrops I used for the magic shows. I put them up, and it's showtime, folks.
Fantastic. Now he's downsizing from a 4-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. Of course, he'll have his 1 bedroom for sleeping, and I guess the other bedroom is going to be your office area.
Yep, that'll be the studio.
Santa studio. Well, fantastic. All right, I think that brings us up on everything we've talked about to this point. So let's go ahead and do Santa's magic bag next. fantastic Santa's magic bag for today is, and this kind of goes in hand with my hot topic that we talked about at the beginning of the show, on a different level. And I have said this over and over, and I even teach this in class. Google and YouTube are your best friends, and they really are. I mean, last night trying to set up my computer, trying to get OBS set back up. You can ask a question, go over to YouTube or Google. Google will give it to you. They'll even suggest some of the videos that they think are, closely related to what you're looking for. And of course, most of those, or all of them pretty much, are either from the manufacturer of, say, HP, or, Apple, or, again, from OBS or whatever. But most of those are YouTube. I use them a lot, but I saw a piece on TV this week that talked about reviews. Reviews. We all use reviews, right? I think everybody does. Uh, when you consider, or considering a purchase or attending an event within our industry, should you trust the reviews? And this piece that I saw on TV is talking about, how do you know if those reviews are AI, as we talked about earlier, artificial intelligent, you know, generated? Are they someone within that company that is out there posting under false names to prop up their goods or their establishment? So how do you know? Remember, views are mainly just an experience or an opinion that a consumer has either themselves had or hearsay passed down from others. I mean, basically, when you think about it, that's what they are. Reviews can easily be manipulated in one direction or another due to the nature of the post being open to all to participate. Anybody can give a review. You'll find corporations that really toot their own horn. So you've got to really be careful. Trust only those that you can closely verify. This goes back to verifying. That's what we talked about earlier, verifying things by, friends. Friends, word of mouth is usually pretty decent. If you know someone and they're telling you about a certain product or an experience they've had, usually it's pretty close to what in their mind happened, or again, find a reliable source. Do a little bit more research. Again, Google and YouTube. Don't just trust one video. Look at 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Last night, as I was looking for settings for my Logitech camera, my old computer was set up. Everything was in there. I knew how to set up, how to go in and adjust my camera settings. Now with my new setup, I'm having to redo things because the OBS that I had downloaded back in 2021 is no longer available. So been 20 something updates since that amount of time, and so everything's different. I'm having to completely relearn how to do everything. So again, YouTube, Google, reviews. Always make sure that you dig a little deeper. What I'm trying to say is, it is human nature to be influenced by hype. Do your research when it comes to suppliers, Santa schools, you name it. If it's out there, do your due diligence. And that is Santa's magic bag for today.
Really is. A lot of those things you can't trust. I mean, just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true. So we kind of said it before. Don't take it as face value right away. Don't. There's plenty of, or when you read a review and they're all bad. Well, there's somebody that's disgruntled, or there's one or two that are horrible. It's like somebody just ticked off at the person. Or there's those glowing ones. It's the best thing since, hey, AJ, you made it. The company's the best thing since sliced bread. That's sometimes put in there by the company. So definitely, like Bob said, go there and take your time, and don't take it as face value. If you know somebody else that has done, say, a friend, that's always the best thing to do if you get a friend's reference, because then they have firsthand thing instead of believing the internet. Like I said, just because it's on there doesn't mean it's true.
And I mean, of course, you could run into that disgruntled friend that the experience is exaggerated for them too. I mean, again, you kind of have to really, in your own mind, make that decision. For instance, you go to Amazon and down towards the bottom, they have the questions and answers and the reviews, and they'll give a rating 4.5 out of 5. And if you look at those ratings, there's very few negative, and they'll list the negative or the bad experience to the right. There's one or two or three of them, but there's hundreds of good experiences to the left in the good column, and you look at those, and not everybody's going to be happy with everything. It's just the nature of who we are. So again, be careful what you do. Do your research, and when you think you've researched enough, do some more. All right, we got any questions for today? Anything about today's show? Tomorrow night, Rex Ray, fantastic guest for tomorrow night. Looking really, I'm so hyped about that one. I was all geared up to do it last week, and so we've been stewing on it all week long. Can't wait to get started on that one tomorrow night. Again, Jessica Rosa has a lot to offer. Uh, Eric and Moesha Elliott coming on the last Tuesday in February, and I will be working. I said this last week, and I hadn't had a chance because of getting my computer finally. I ordered this computer back some time ago, and I had it personalized, had it upgraded with more memory, 1 terabyte of memory, and some other things I'd done to it. So it had to go through the manufacturing process. Didn't expect to really have it this soon. Got it, and so I've worked on that all week long. But I will be reaching out to many others this week, try to get you lined up on the show for upcoming episodes that we'll have March and April. All right. Any questions? Anyone have any questions? Real quick, like Tuesday night live show tomorrow night. Don't get thrown off that the music, you lead in music for our 2.5 minute countdown is different. We're going with a different lead in song this year. Our second commercial, the Sat Bob's commercial, did not change. I am looking to do something different there in the future. But all the other videos that we run during that show will be different background music, some different wording. The segments with Spangle have similarities, but there are upgrades and things there. So tune in tomorrow night and check us out and check out our interview with Rex Ray. Rex says, I love the shows with the newer and younger folks as guests. Fantastic point, Rex. Me too. As we mentioned earlier, everyone has something to offer. Everyone has experiences and experience. So if you know someone that you think would make a good guest, put their name in the hat, send it to us. Let us know. We'll reach out to them, see if we can get them on the show. Erica Moesha, have you ever done a gig with a verbal paid agreement and not get paid? If so, what did you do? I can speak to that a little bit, Eric and Mo. Another good friend of ours here in the Metroplex that I mentored, and I guess I kind of still am. I recommended because I was working with a photographer this year. My mall season started, and she wanted extra dates after I started at the mall, and I couldn't do them. So I recommended this other Santa to contact her. And it turns out that he had a family member that was actually doing his bookings for him, and she had already booked one date, and he was not aware of it, and he accepted the job with this photographer. So he told her 2 weeks ahead of that date that there had been a mistake made, and he was sorry, but this other gig was one that he had done year after year, and explained to her, and she got upset and did not pay him $350 that she owed him because of that. She says that he cost her money, and she picked up another Santa that was not a professional. She bought a suit for him, so she had money out of pocket. So she back charged him. Like I told him, small claims court, but you know what? It's really not going to be worth it. It's just a lesson learned, and chalk it up as a lesson learned and move on. It's unfortunate it happens.
Yeah. The only thing I can say is Moesha and them really, when it comes to a lot of your gigs, don't do something without is just a verbal. That is the olden days. You could do yeah, I'll be there, no problem. Yeah, I'll pay you this much money, no problem. The old fashioned handshake just doesn't. You really, you because a lot of times I know they say, "Oh, it's the last minute tomorrow. Can you fill in? You don't have time to do paperwork." Um, it's really not. I guess it depends upon how you feel, but sometimes it's not worth the possible aggravation afterwards if you don't get a written contract. At least something signed on both sides. I mean, you can do it. I mean, if they don't have a couple different emails to send them to, it sounds kind of shady to not get things as quick as possible. But my recommendation is don't do a gig unless you have a performance confirmation contract, whatever you want to call it, signed one way or the other. So you have, and then you can still got to take them to small claims court, which isn't worth it if they don't pay you. But at least you have a piece of paper, because a verbal means absolutely nothing in court. Nowadays, a verbal means nothing. It's got to be signed
No.
and dated and everything else. So I hate to say it, either you bug them a little bit for the money, you bug them a little bit. Hey, look, remember we did the deal, a few calls, few emails, and then if they don't, I hate to say it's the learning the hard way. That I'm sorry to say, but yeah, don't do it without a contract. And I know you probably wanted to fill in every date. You're probably doing somebody a favor, um, but I like birthday parties. I do like birthday parties. I make sure there's a confirmation. I call them performance confirmations on birthday parties. I don't call them contracts for doing magic. And it's just a birthday party. It shouldn't be a big deal. Oh yeah, I'll be at your birthday party 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But don't, yeah, you do it. So yeah,
It's a shame it's come to that, but it
yeah,
really has. And again, if you get caught up in a situation like that, it's really not worth the headache, the time, the effort to try to go after it. And the person on the other end knows that. Just like in the case that I was speaking
yeah,
of, he went ahead and worked a couple of more weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, just a few hours each weekend for a couple of more weeks after that incident. And she was paying a week later after you performed your duties, and she just refused to pay him for his last time, the 3 hours that he had worked for her, which is unfortunate. But like I told him, it's just a lesson learned.
yeah,
Sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. So,
yeah.
all right. Okay, anything else to add to any of that, Randy?
No, that's pretty much, yeah. Just try to. It's the old. I hate to use these later, but CYA.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. We want to thank everyone tremendously for showing up today, coming in, being a part of the show, giving us your ear for over an hour now. And thank you so much. Be sure and join us tomorrow night for the Tuesday Night Live show with Rex Ray as our special guest, Hall of Famer 2018, gentleman that is a treasure trove of information. And of course, Randy and I will be back here next Monday, 3 p.m. Central Time. That's 4 Eastern. And for those on the East Coast. All right, Randy.
Don't forget, tomorrow's Valentine's Day, so do something. Do something special for Valentine's Day. See Rex Ray, but don't forget your other special someone. But most of all, folks, stay safe, stay healthy, and like I said, always, most of all, stay magical. Thank you guys for joining us today. See you tomorrow night, and see you next Monday. Thanks, guys.
Happy
Bye.
Valentine's to everyone out there. If you happen to go out to eat tomorrow night, be sure and leave yourself a couple of hours because it is going to be busy at the restaurants. One of the most busiest nights uh, each year, along with Mother's Day, because moms don't like to cook on Mother's Day. But be sure and leave yourself plenty of time. I took my wife out Thursday night, got ahead of a jump ahead of it, and that way we didn't have to mess with the crowd tomorrow night. And of course, we had the show, so those are all things we had to think about. All right, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow night. See you next Monday. Be safe, as Randy says, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining us.